are listening to Balloon Killers. I'm your host, Chrissy Riley, and each episode I'll be talking to someone from the world of cowboy mounted shooting, which is one of the most exciting and fastest growing equestrian sports. Hold on to your hats because it's going to get Western. Hello, shooters. Welcome to episode 47 of Balloon Killers. Now, I don't know about you all, but I've been having real struggles getting out there to ride and shoot recently because the weather is nuts. Go home weather, you are drunk. Seriously, Arctic temperatures, minus temperatures, crazy gale force winds, and then when it is lovely, when it's the 30s and 40s, of course, I'm working late until it's dark or I'm traveling for work. So today I have the day off and I'm very excited because once I'm done recording this episode, I'm going to head out and spend all day with my ponies. Glorious. My next shoot is February 8th with the Colorado Mounted Thunder, and it's the Purple Rain shoot. And let me tell you, I am not going to struggle finding something purple to wear for this one because my entire wardrobe is almost all purple. If any of you saw me on the Horse 45s episode made by Danny Ernest, you'll see me talking about my obsession for purple and, of course, wearing purple. And if you haven't checked out Horse 45s, what are you doing with your life? Go ahead and check it out right now. It's on YouTube and it's so good. My guest for this episode is the owner and lead photographer of Spirit of a Cowboy Images, specializing in equine sports, rodeo, and Western lifestyle photography. David Thomas is the newly selected official photographer for the Cowboy Mounted Shooting Association's major events. He's a PRCA photographer, Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, with experience covering elite rodeo competitions. He's also a Go Ruck selection finisher. If you haven't heard of Go Ruck, go check it out because it's really interesting. And this reflects a background built on discipline, endurance, and operating under pressure. He has been immersed in horses and Western culture for over 30 years, and he has roots in rodeo and life on a small farm in Eastern Washington. He's a former competitive bull rider, which brings a rider's perspective to timing and moment selection, and he's known for his dramatic, consistent action imagery in challenging environments, including dust. We get a lot of that in our shooting competitions, smoke, a lot of that too, and low light. And he's passionate about honoring the rider-horse partnership and the work behind every competitive moment. Well, hi, David. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. I've been really looking forward to this opportunity, and I can't wait to kind of share a little bit about myself. And since I'm barely, I would say safe to say I'm a new shooter, pun intended. Uh, I'm excited to kind of let people know a little bit about me and where I'm from, how I got here, and what they can kind of expect in the year to come.
Are you in a big freeze where you are right now? Is it freezing cold there?
No, it's really nice. I'm in New River, Arizona, and I'm originally from Washington State, and but I came down here. Actually, this is my second year coming down to Arizona for the winter. In 2022, April 2022, I started as a full-time photographer. So essentially, up in Washington, from probably September on through about February, things kind of shut down because it's cold, wet, and miserable.
Yeah.
And so last year, I was thinking, man, there's no reason for me to stay here when and be cold, wet, and miserable and not have any events to shoot. Why don't I go to Arizona? At least I can be warm and dry and have the potential for events. And turned out being one of the best decisions I've ever made. But this year I came down a little bit earlier. I came down in November, And last month, Washington got some really, really bad flooding. So I really kind of felt sorry for everybody back home. I was going to make a video, and it was 70 degrees on that day. And I thought, oh, no, this would not be good timing. But today, I mean, it's probably going to be 60s here today, mid 60s. So yeah, it's wonderful.
Nice. I'm always so jealous when I watch the Arizona crew doing their shoots. I think there was a shoot last weekend. I think you were
Yes. Uh-huh.
shooting at
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
shoot. And I was very jealous of the beautiful weather because last weekend we had the Arctic freeze going on here.
It gets, yeah, and I will say that it does get windy here, and when the wind picks up, it can be a little biting, but usually it kind of settles down probably by 10, 11 o'clock, and then it's just gorgeous.
You've got a big event coming up because you are the new CMSA official photographer. Woo! And
Yeah.
so you've got the big winters coming up. Tell us about your journey in photography that led you to this point.
Oh gosh, when I saw that question, I kind of laughed. You know those memes on Facebook where you'll see they'll have a stick person here, and then they'll have destination here, and then there's line,
Uh-huh.
and then you'll have David here, and then where we are today.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, my journey, long story short, I mean, it's quite kind of convoluted and strange, but I started taking pictures probably back in probably 1996 or somewhere right around in there. And um, I couldn't pick out something that was artistic for the life of me. I didn't have an artistic cell in my body, and but I wanted to learn how to take pictures, and so I was very technically minded, and so I learned how to take a good picture, and um, got pretty good at it. And then just through life, divorce, just life itself, I stopped taking pictures for about 5 years, and then picked up the camera. And when I got a camera again, I got a digital camera. So that was a whole nother learning kind of curve and process to navigate. And so I got that all figured out, and then started just actively taking pictures. And I had a friend. I used to ride bulls, and I had a friend that I rodeoed with, and she saw some of my pictures on Facebook. They weren't equestrian related or rodeo or anything, but she saw them and she said, "Hey, you should go shoot a rodeo." Kind of backstory: as I tore my bicep tendon in 1992, and on the last bull that I got on, and that destroyed all my hopes of being a world champion bull rider. So I totally kind of walked away from rodeo and everything. I was just devastated. So back up to 2017 when she reached out to me and said, "Hey, you should shoot a rodeo." And so I thought, okay, the heartache is gone, and I'm okay now. So I went to a rodeo. It's in Washington State. It's Omak Stampede. You may have heard of it. It's kind of infamous because of it has a thing called the suicide race. So basically, it's on native land, and they
Yeah.
essentially run straight down. I mean, it gives me chills just thinking about it. It's fascinating, and it's a kind of rite of passage for young men, and so it's just a really neat deal. But it's a little controversial.
Hmm.
Um, but I went there, and as soon as I got to the grounds, just kind of the atmosphere, the smells, the sights, the sounds, it all kind of came back. And it's like, oh man, this is home. This is where I belong. And so from that point on, I did everything I could to work towards getting my PRCA photographer's card, and I got that in 2018. And then I thought, well, yeah, I'm just gonna just shoot rodeos, and so I pretty much laid out my schedule and shot a lot of rodeos. And then I got ended up asking to shoot a barrel race, and went and shot it, and they kind of liked the images, and so started shooting a good handful of barrel races, and that led into someone asking me to come and shoot a reining show. And well, I worked for a cutting horse trainer in high school, and I'd never seen reining, but I thought, oh, reining, it's got to be like cutting. And so I go into this event thinking that it's going to be like cutting, and it's totally not like cutting. And so um, I think the producers and everything might have thought I was a little nuts because I was moving around the arena, getting kind of angles and getting down low as they were doing their big circles and coming around, and so the horse was right here, and nobody said anything, but I imagine there was a lot of people thinking, "What in the heck is this guy doing?" And but they liked the pictures. So I got asked back to do some more, and then a couple other organizations asked me to come and shoot theirs, and I was shooting a handful of breed shows, and then in 2019, this is kind of weird, but I got a call, or I got a message from Jessie Johnson, and you had her on the
Hmm.
podcast.
Yeah,
uh,
love Jesse.
and um, I was at Othello Rodeo in Othello, Washington. I was shooting the rodeo, and she messaged me. And so the rodeo is Friday night and Saturday night. And she messaged and said, "Hey, we're over here at the fairgrounds, and we're doing this event called Mounted Shooting. And if you're free tomorrow, we'd like you to come over and shoot it." And I'd never heard of it, and so I thought, oh, it sounds kind of cool, shooting, so went over, and it was really cool, and I shot it, and got some pretty neat images, and but after that, my schedule for the year was already laid out, and I couldn't ever really follow up and do any more in order to kind of get, kind of figure out how to shoot this cool event. And so basically, long story short, that was the only mounted shooting event I was able to shoot until I came down here last year in Arizona. I've got a few
Oh.
friends up in Washington that are mounted shooters, and they would reach out to me at different times, but there would always be a conflict. I would be somewhere, or maybe I'd reach out to them and ask if they had anything going on, and they didn't. So there was never a chance where I got the opportunity to kind of follow up on that, on shooting a mounted shooting event. And when I came down here to Arizona, again, I just came down just to get out of the cold, wet, and rain. And but fortunately, I had a few people that I reached out to and said, "Hey, I'm down here. Do you know of any events that I might be able to shoot?" And they kind of connected me with a couple of producers, and they had told me that, yeah, I think they've already got photographers, but I thought, what the heck, it can't hurt to reach out to them. And so I messaged, and ended up being, they said, yeah, come on out, we'd love to have you. And I shot one event. It was a 1 day shoot, and then I think the next weekend was another 2 day shoot. So they ended up inviting me back for that. And then, so the two producers that produced the events prior to Winters, Wendy Schaefer and Carrie Hirschberg, they were the two producers of these shows that I had shot. And so they ended up asking me to come down and shoot the Cactus Classic and the Southwest Spectacular.
Hmm.
So I ended up going down and shooting those, and then I'd heard people talking about. I mean, that at that point I'm like newer than new to mounted shooting. Um, but I still didn't know how everything worked, and I heard the term winters and championships and stuff like that, and so I said, hey, do they have a photographer for that? And I was told, yeah, there's an official photographer for they call them majors, and there's
Hmm.
an official photographer for that. So finished Cactus Classic, and I thought, you know what? I don't have anything else going on, and so there's no reason for me not to stay here. So why don't I stick around? Watch the official photographer, maybe kind of learn a little bit more about how to shoot this stuff, and get better at being able to do it. So I stayed in the first day of majors, or of Winters. During a drag, I saw Mark Quigley out there, and I went out and introduced myself, and I just kind of told him a little bit about who I was, and so we got to talking, just hit it off really well. And I ended up staying through the whole majors. I didn't really do anything. I did shoot a little bit of video for Danny Ernest, and I just found out here recently that he actually used part of my clip. I think on that last the video clip that he did with you. So that was kind of exciting. Um, but about 2 weeks after the event, after Winters, I get a message from Mark, and he says, "Hey, if you're available and would like to, I'd like to have you come to Lincoln, Nebraska, and help me shoot the next major, and or the major there." And
Mhm.
so I thought, well, it's a long way, and but I thought, that's a really cool opportunity, and it was really cool that I thought, for him to even offer me that, because I was, virtually, I literally just met him at Winters,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I may have shown him some images, but I don't really think he saw a lot of my work. So I went to Lincoln, Nebraska, and I didn't take the RV. I just drove the truck, and I decided to sleep in the back of my pickup back seat. And that was probably one of the worst mistakes I've ever made.
Yes.
I literally could not turn my neck for about 2 weeks after that. But going there was the best decision I could have made. So it all kind of panned out. But the second night there, we were sitting there eating, and he said, "Hey, um, I'm actually kind of considering maybe pulling back and possibly retiring from this. And I've thought about it, and I wanted to see if you would be interested in potentially taking over if CMSA leadership is in agreement with it." And it kind of, I mean, it still blows me away that he made that offer to me, basically being kind of an unknown. But it was an honor for me to receive that gesture from him. So he said, don't worry about answering now. Go home, kind of think about it, and then get back to me. And so I finished out helping him shoot there, and went home. And just on the drive home, I'm trying to think of what would be a reason for me not to. And there was really nothing. I thought, this is really a golden opportunity for me, and a true blessing, in every right. So I messaged him back and said, Mark, I would love to take you up on that offer, pending the leadership approval. And I ended up going to actually Shelbyville, Tennessee, and helping him shoot that, and then also Worlds, and helping him shoot that. Also, that helped me to kind of get introduced to a few more people, and kind of learn the system and whatnot, and just learn how the shoots are operated and performed. And so essentially, he kind of presented that when I think he was in the process of maybe presenting it to Gary and the prior leadership, and then when the Kramers took over, he presented it to them, and they were happy with it. We did have a Zoom call, or not a we I think we had it was just a call, but they were really excited about being able to kind of take CMSA kind of to the next level, and to really to bring it up in the forefront. And me hearing that, that just excited me, because seeing what I envision and being able to do with images, and just with everything that's involved with it. I think that imagery can really have a major impact on just exposure and excitement, and just bringing a really really energetic vibe, to everything. And so I was really excited about how they were the direction that they wanted to go, and then a few days later, so I got the go ahead, and here we are. So
And
I'm
here we
I'm
are.
yeah,
Such an honor.
yeah.
And So exciting for you. And you mentioned that you're excited about the direction that the Kramers are going to take CMSA and how you can fit into that. Is there anything else that you're excited about for this role?
Oh my gosh, I am. I think so. What's really neat about mounted shooting is that it has so many elements. It has the speed, it has shooting, it has horsemanship, it has the connection with the horse and the rider. It has the attire, the stuff that everybody wears. It has a lot of faith-based articles and just the etchings and stuff like that. And so collectively that is awesome, but even individually those things can be captured in. So I'm really excited about being able to give shooters and the organization um, some images maybe that they haven't seen before, or that they're there, they just haven't been captured in a way that I think that I'll be able to capture them. And I think and I hope, but so far people have been really excited about the way that I shoot. It was kind of like with the raining deal. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew what I thought looked cool, and I knew what making the horse look powerful and dominating and different things. That's what I was trying to do in raining, and I was not in places where I was supposed to be shooting from, but they were really cool images, and so. I kind of take that same thing with mounted shooting. Again, like I said, from the first one to now, not having shot a lot of them, but I shoot in a way that I think presents well and is cool and gives due justice to everything involved in it. Because I mean, literally, there's so much that goes into being in that 15 seconds of a run,
Hmm.
from the days, the hours, the months, the years that it takes, for somebody to get a horse to that position, to get themselves to that position, to be able to bring all of those things together, the horsemanship, the shooting, and everything else, and it comes down to 15 seconds. And I want to be able to make the most of those 15 seconds and give them something that they wouldn't have otherwise. So that's what I'm excited about.
You mentioned that you like to make the horses look powerful, but what else makes the perfect professional shot in mounted shooting?
Oh gosh, well, when I saw this question, and so the perfect shot will be when you see me with powder burns, because I'll be that close. No, so I have a few images that to me, there are several perfect shots. And so this image here of Renee White is, I mean, it's to me, it's just so classic, just the position of the horse, everything that she's wearing, the gunfire, that, could be a perfect shot. Um,
We always love a bit of
so
gunfire. We love the smoke. We love the we
yes,
love the
yeah.
heat and to be able to see that when we look at our pictures for sure.
Right. And when I first started being able to, and it's a timing issue, and so I'm getting a little bit better, but each shooter has a different rhythm, and for it's not far off because the balloons are obviously at the same position, but when I'm shooting someone, I kind of have to find their rhythm, and then I can be more accurate in getting the shot. But
Hmm.
even a shot like this with Kenda, where it's this is a panning shot, and so to me that kind of brings in the element of speed, of angles and everything. So that is another shot that I would to speak of a perfect shot, I don't know that there is one, but there's shots that are perfectly captured, I think. And
Yeah, and I love the one on the thing I love about that picture is the cross shot. The cross shot, I think, just the
yes,
body angle, the horse is turning away to the next balloon, but Kenda's body's facing the balloon. She's ready to shoot. It's just a
yes,
beautiful image.
yep. And so like this has everything. Those didn't have a balloon, or didn't have a shot. This has a balloon, has a shot. So, and this is Carrie. So
Hmm.
I listened to the interview with her, but so that to me is also kind of a perfectly timed image. And then lastly, this one does not even have a balloon or a shot in it, but to me, I mean, it just speaks old Western cowboy movie, and I love it. So, um, I think there are, again, like I was saying before, there are so many aspects and so many um, parts of mounted shooting that can be captured in a way that in a way that you want to take something and put it on your wall. That's what I'm super excited about being able to do.
We are excited too. Now, there's a lot of us who don't have the privilege of having David Thomas at all of our shoots. And a lot of us are out there with our iPhones or our Galaxies or whatever we're using, taking our pictures. What's a top tip for the amateur photographer who uses their phone to take pictures at shoots?
Oh, Chrissy, a top tip is
Hmm.
buy my camera. No, a top tip would be um, probably anticipate sooner, because especially with phones, there's going to be a delay. So if you're seeing something and you're trying to take a picture of it and you hit the well, I guess it's not even, well, it's kind of a shutter on a phone, but um, there's going to be a delay. So I would almost want to anticipate when you're really going to want to take the shot and take it just a little bit ahead of that. And that way, hopefully, you're going to actually get the image that you are trying to get versus, half a horse later,
I
or
have many
something
of
like
those.
that.
I have
Yeah.
many of those
Yes.
on my
Yes.
camera reel.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So that would probably be my top tip.
I think that's a good one, given my camera reel right now. You mentioned in the beginning, as you were talking through your journey into this position, that you have been a bull rider. I also heard that you have worked for a cutting horse trainer. So clearly, you have a background in horses. Tell us about that.
I do. Yeah. So I was I was raised by my mother and stepdad, and they were not equestrian, and but we moved out to a small farm when I was probably about 5 years old, and behind our farm was a big gravel pit, and on the other side of that gravel pit were a few houses, and one of those houses was the home of who kind of became someone who became kind of a grandfather and grandmother figure to me, Wes and Pee Wee Summerlin. He was a an old school cowboy mountain man kind of deal, and and they had several grandkids, there's kids and grandkids, and all the grandkids would come over on the weekends to ride horses and play in the gravel pit, and they just ended up he just added me to the mix of grandkids, and so I learned to ride. We would pack horses and mules up in the mountains in the summers, and go spend our summers up there, and his son and daughter-in-law, John and Sally Summerlin, they actually became kind of a father figure and mother figure to me and mentor. He was a bull rider, so that's how I started got into started riding bulls. I in twofold. I didn't have I started off team roping first, but I didn't have the money for a horse or to be able to travel. So I thought, well, bull riding's a whole lot cheaper. I just need a rigging bag, and it was a whole lot more exciting too. So I started riding bulls, and then in high school, or actually in junior high, I started working for a cutting horse trainer, and again, I thought when I saw reining, I thought, oh yeah, I know how to do that. I worked for 5 years for a cutting horse trainer. Um, but so I did that, and then I went in the army, and so I was kind of away from things for about 4 years, and then when I came back um, to Washington, I ended up working a little bit for a racehorse trainer, and I was working towards getting my exercise rider license, and then things end up. I think they end up going to another track, or something changed, and so I didn't actually do that. But I did saddle up and sit on a few racehorses, which was probably one of the scariest moments of my life when one ran away with me, and literally I it's like, okay, I'm about to die on this horse because it's not stopping. So that was an experience that I lived through, fortunately, and uh, but yeah, so I pretty much, since probably about 5 or 6 years old, in some form or another, been around horses, worked around horses, and a lot of times people will ask if being an equestrian photographer, if I have horses or if I ride. And the answer to that question is yes, I do ride. And I don't have horses, I have OPP horses. Chrissy, do you know what that is?
No.
Other people's property. The, the best kind of horses to have.
They
I,
are the best kind of
I don't have to
horses.
feed them. I don't have to pay the vet bills. I don't have to haul them. I just get to go and ride. So I've got enough friends that have multiple horses, and so I do get the opportunity to ride on occasion. So I'm grateful for that.
Well, you mentioned the man who got you into bull riding, and maybe this is one of the people you're going to refer to here, but who or what has been instrumental in your success? And that could be people, strategies, schooling, anything really.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there's about five significant factors in why I'm sitting here talking to you this morning. Um, that individual, yes, John and Sally Summer. I actually had two families growing up that kind of just basically kind of took me in and made, said, you know what, you're part of us. Um, we love you like a son, and we're going to treat you that way. And the other family, Doug and Betty Sansom, they both passed, but they were the same way. They were not equestrian related at all, and uh, did any of that, but they just loved me. And so I'm grateful for them. They were a big influence. John and Sally Summerlin, like I had mentioned, were and Sally is still my number one fan, literally. And also a couple of decisions. So the decision to come down to Arizona last winter ended up, obviously being a very significant and beneficial decision. And another kind of short story. So blink three times and tap your watch if I'm taking too long. I realize I kind of get to going, and then I mean I could talk all day about photography and
I
horses and
love
all that.
hearing it.
But when I came down to Arizona last year, I went out to the Tonto National Forest and shot the wild horses. That had been one of my goals, is to shoot wild horses, and so finally I get the opportunity. So I go out and I'm shooting them. Then I post some pictures and stuff. And I have a friend from Washington. He had moved down here to Arizona probably about 6, 7 years ago. And he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd love to go." He's a photographer. He said, "Hey, I'd love to go out and shoot the wild horses with you." And I said, "Okay, we'll connect." And so whatever day we are both available, we connected on, and we went out and we are shooting them and just got to talking. And Just prior to this, I had purchased some lighting equipment, some flash, and I'd purchased four of these flash units that I was going to use for various things. And he started talking, and he said, "Yeah, because he used to he used to have a studio, and he said, I've been thinking about. I haven't really been doing much with these lights. I've been thinking about selling them." And he said they are, such and such lights. And I said, wow, that's exactly what I have. And if I had four more, I could actually, I'm thinking in my head, if I had four more, I could cover an arena. And with just the four that I had, I didn't want to try it and not do a good job, not adequately do it. So thinking if I had four more, I could. And so I said, well, I might be interested in those. And so a couple days later, I go over to his house, and he's showing me everything, and talking to me, and I'm inside I'm thinking, yes, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. And and he said, okay, I'll give the whole package for $1,700. And I'm thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have $1,700 to spare right now. But I'm thinking, I want, I knew that these would be good for me.
Hmm.
So I think he could probably kind of see the look on my face, and he'd say, don't worry about paying me right now. You can, if you can get me the money, by the end of next month. And so that gave me like 5 weeks. And so I'm thinking, okay, cool. I can definitely do that. So let's do this. So we package them up. They're in this plastic tub. I'm walking it out to my truck, and he's walking out with me. And I get an alert on my phone. And on my old website, when I got purchases, my phone would alert. And so in this, I hadn't done any recent shooting lately, so I didn't figure, like last weekend, the event that I shot at, I didn't expect a purchase from that. So I take out my phone and I look at it, and I mean literally, it turned me speechless. It was a purchase. So Chrissy, it was a purchase for $1,850. I had never gotten anything of that near that amount in a single purchase before. And I mean, I couldn't even speak. I showed him the phone, and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot even believe, right there is the money for these lights. And he's the kind of guy, even that prior to that, we were kind of talking, and he's like, when your mind's right, when your heart's right, right things happen. And uh, uh, it was definitely a gift. And but that purchase was from Renee White, and she bought all the images for their from the Southwest Spectacular and Cactus Classic. And sorry.
No, it's okay. You've made the hairs on my arm stand on end with like that divine intervention. I mean that is divine intervention. It has to be.
Yeah, yeah, literally. And I even made a video afterwards, because it was just such a profound moment. And I'm so grateful for her. And unknowingly, but what she did was um and he allowed me the opportunity to, when I went back to Washington shortly thereafter, I shot a raining show, and I used the lights, and I got some really neat kind of dramatic dynamic images, and people loved them. And so it really allowed me to kind of level up and up my game, and take my images to someplace where I wouldn't have been able to without the lighting equipment. And so when I finally tracked her down at in Shelbyville, and I went up and I said, hey, I got to tell you, how much I truly appreciate you, and how you have really helped me level up and take my images to another level. And she is just she's the neatest person on the planet. When I saw her the first time, I saw her come out in Calvary, um, I was like, wow, this lady is a cool lady.
She's the real
And
deal.
yeah, and her heart is just as cool as she is on the outside. And I can't say enough about her. But I you know I told her that you've really had a big impact on me, and I appreciate you. And then the final one, literally, I would not have the knowledge, the ability to do the things that I can do in with my processes and everything without Tracy Davenport. She is a reigning and barrel race photographer out of Oklahoma City, and over the past probably year and a half, I swear she's probably spent 100 or 200 hours with me on the phone, on the computer, in person. I've gone to Oklahoma and helped them with some races, and she's taught me, you know, um, things that I would not have learned, and brought me into kind of um, her family, and just helped me really to become a much more professional uh, and proficient photographer in everything that I do, in the things that I will be able to do. And so she probably hands down as of late has been really the biggest influence and positive impact on my life. And uh,
Some amazing people and
yeah,
amazing
yeah.
stories that tell me you are sitting in exactly the right seat now because this plan was designed for you for sure.
Funny story, Chrissy. Um, so during World Finals in Amarillo, Mark had invited me to come out to dinner, and just through the course of the meal, we were just talking, and he looks at me and he said, "David, I want you to know that I've been praying about this, and you are the answer to my prayers." And I looked at him and I said, "Mark, you know, I really appreciate hearing that. I'd been hoping that would come from a beautiful woman who would be my future wife, but I'll take it from you for now." And he chuckled. But Mark's a great guy, and I'm glad that I was able to be the answer to what he'd been praying for.
Taking a little bit of a shift in a different direction, this is a question I ask everybody who comes on the podcast. What's a little known fact about you? Now, this is probably easy for you because a lot of us probably don't know too much about you.
Yeah.
So you probably don't have to work too hard to find something. But
Oh my
what's
God.
something that we might not know about you?
um, let's see. Well, so you might not know it, but it's some people have probably seen it, and it'll become known. I can not dance. If there's music playing, I am going to be dancing or moving or something. I used to teach dance. I used to teach country dance, some partner dancing and line dancing and different things. But I mean, I'll dance down the aisle of Walmart, Safeway. I'll dance in a parking lot. It's just in me. I dance on the treadmill at the gym. Um, I've got more videos that people have sent me that when I'm shooting, and they've shot me behind and captured me dancing while I'm taking pictures. I've got more videos of that than I can count. So yeah, I definitely I think dancing is probably something that anybody that's seen me at a few events. I may have seen it, but that's definitely something that probably people wouldn't have known.
That's something that you and I have in common because I also am someone who, as soon as I hear music, I cannot help but start moving to the beat. And there's some amusing videos of me actually in the arena before I'm about to shoot, getting my groove on because I've got the music in my ears. But
Yes.
the difference, David, is that I think you can actually probably move, whereas I actually can't move. I just enjoy it.
You know what? That's the biggest part of it. I'll take, a lot of times, I'll take someone out and if they don't know how to dance and say, it doesn't matter. Half the time when I'm doing a line dance, I probably forgot more than I remembered. But it's just about having fun, and it doesn't matter that you're not doing it right, because who's who to discern what is right.
Hmm.
But I don't understand how people cannot move if there's music. It's just it's not in my blood, that's for sure.
It helps me get the
Yeah.
kinks and the bugs out before I go into
Oh
the
yeah,
arena as
absolutely.
well.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And another thing that I'm stoked about is on your interview with Mitchell Kramer, he stressed about how he values the importance of music,
Hmm.
and um and just the way he said it, and it really makes sense. You're, like I say, you spent all these years, months, days, time, money, and everything into this 15 seconds of performance, and to go in there and then just hear crickets. It's like, come
Yeah.
on. And so, I love the fact that he's excited and really values presenting music in a way that really kind of enhances and increases the energy level and the vibe, and just really pulls everything together. And so that's another thing I'm excited about. So when you see me dancing, it'll be Mitchell's fault.
Yeah, it definitely raises the energy level
Oh,
for both
absolutely.
the contestant. Like, as I'm in the arena and I hear the music, I'm like, yes, let's
Right.
go. And then
Yeah.
for everyone watching, also, it makes it really exciting.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've gone to, some of the and I think I have it right, the shootouts, it just electrifies, the whole atmosphere, and the crowd, and so yeah. So I'm really pumped about that. I have been to some raining shows where it has been torture. Um, Either not having music or having the same seven songs play over and over and over again. Oh my gosh. So that's another thing that I'm truly excited about.
So you've got a big year ahead of you, I'm sure, being CMSA official photographer for the majors. What shoots can we expect you to be at in the near future?
Well, so the majors, for sure, and there's been a few that I've heard. I've listened to every podcast, and some multiple times, so I am so grateful for those. But it's really been interesting to hear about being, obviously, being new, and not being a shooter. I haven't been exposed or privy to any of those, so it's been really great to hear your interviews and hear about some of those. And so I think one of them that I'd like to attend, I'm not sure that I would be able to. I think I've got a conflict with it, but Missouri State Fair shoot,
Hmm.
I believe was one of them. And then I believe D. Chapman talked about a shoot where it was a shoot, a cow sorting, and a barrel race
Lusk,
combined.
Wyoming. Yes.
Yes,
The
yeah. So
guns, cans, and cattle in Lusk, Wyoming. I believe it's either end of August or beginning of September.
oh, yeah, that would be fascinating to be able to shoot. So, hopefully, some of those, but I think just throughout the connections, and I'm really grateful for this, because I think this will allow a lot of people to get to know me, and then maybe even those that have some significant shoots, or some shoots, will be able to reach out to me. And so I think there will be many more that I end up going to that I don't know of at this point. But
Hmm.
those two, I would definitely like to be able to attend at some point, for sure.
So when you are at different shoots, how can people sign up for your photographs?
Ah, so that's a great question. Currently, right now, what I do is I I load the pictures to my website, and I usually have a QR code that I'll post around the facility. Um, for this first major, what I'm going to do. So in the past, what Mark Quigley and Mark had a great system, and I just I applaud him for so many things, for just the man that he is. He's an incredible man, um, and he had a good system in place, and but he built that over 25 years, and so what I want to do is I want to utilize that system, but for this first winter championships, what I'm going to do is I'm going to photograph everybody because I want to start things off with a clean slate. I'm new to CMSA, so I don't feel like picking up where Mark had left off would necessarily be appropriate for this first one. So I will be shooting everybody. Um, so a sign up per se isn't necessary, but the caveat to that is I do want to do what is going to be called. So for my images, if I sell them as an individual digitals or package deal. You can like the more you buy, the less it is. And then I also have what's called a buy all. So it's basically buy all the images for that particular event.
Hmm.
And that's essentially what Mark was doing with his auto customer list. And so for this first major, like I say, I'm going to shoot everybody, and I do want to develop or employ the auto purchase, kind of like what he did, and that'll be basically the buy alls. My images will be able to I will load into the computer, and then they'll essentially be available for a download or for purchase and download right after the event. So there won't be any waiting period for to get to a thumb drive or something like that. So I think my process will really kind of excite people in being able to get there, because literally as the days progress after an event, the event hangover, so to speak,
Hmm.
kind of drops off, and so there's that level of excitement, right afterwards, and so I want to be able to kind of kind of let people benefit from that and get their images as soon as possible. So for the most part, right after an event is done, I'm going to have the images loaded and available for viewing and purchase. People who do sign up, and I would like them to sign up for the auto list. This does two things for me. Being a equestrian event photographer is it's very, very up and down. One event I can expect one event to do a certain amount of sales, and then it just kind of, for whatever reason, with lack of entries or for whatever, I don't get what I expected to get, and then so that just kind of is a kind of a snowball effect, and okay, now funds to get to the next event and whatnot. So
Hmm.
with the auto system like Mark had in place, at least I will know, at least for these five majors, I will have an idea of about the minimum that I will make. And so that's, full transparency. That's what I want, and I would rather have and be able to do, other than people purchasing, if they even if they do a buy all, purchasing the buy all afterwards. The incentive for doing the auto list is it's actually going to be cheaper. It's $200 for the auto list, $200 for $250 for a regular buy all. But what it does for the shooter is it eliminates the oh dang, I forgot to check out my pictures. Oh, when am I going to get my pictures? Basically, I will, once I get them processed, all the the people on the auto list, I will send them a link to download. I charge their card, and it's done. They don't have to think about anything. They just go home, get their pictures, or maybe even have their pictures before they get home. you know some people have to travel a few days, so um
Like
the
me.
way yes, exactly. um but the way that I am able to do that, and again, this is thanks back to Tracy Davenport, the system that I'm able to use, her system, um, allows me to be able to really get images available for viewing or purchase. Almost sometimes during the event, and but if not, the night that night or the next day. So I'm excited about being able to do that. But that's how the system will kind of work. I will also have two kiosks at Winters, and people can go up and view the pictures on there, and they can purchase from the kiosk. People can purchase from their phone also. So basically any device, pictures can be purchased from. I take all forms of payment other than kids, husbands, and goats, and so I just try to make it easy for people to get hopefully some amazing images of themselves. So long story short, that's kind of the process.
Well, I'm going to be getting on that auto list because I have been working on my face, fixing my face when I'm shooting. Let me tell you, it has been a process because when I first started shooting, and I'd say right up to January of this year, I look like I'm constipated when I'm shooting. So as I've been working on my mental game and as I've been sitting in my virtual reality zone on my saddle in
Mhm.
my living room, I'm smiling. So, David, I'm
There.
hoping that you're going to capture some awesome pictures of me smiling. And hopefully, it's not a creepy smile. Hopefully, it's like an excited and fun and happy smile.
Wonderful. Yes. Well, I'm looking forward to capturing that. You have a beautiful smile, so I think we'll definitely be able to hopefully capitalize on that.
Thank you. And for people who might be getting excited at this point, how can they check out your work before they even go to majors?
Um, they can go to my and I'm really excited because again, Tracy Davenport. Just a few days ago, we redesigned my website, and it looks pretty cool. I'm excited about it. But they can go to www.spiritofacowboyimages.org, and that's the even I think actually both .org or .com will take you to my website. So they can check that out, and then there's any event galleries column, and they just can go down there and click 2026, 2025, or 2024, and so on. And again, images can be viewed on the phone, on any device. And then as far as the auto, just kind of backing up just a little bit to the auto list. Um, I didn't want to take any information that Mark already had. And again, I wanted this to be a clean slate. So anybody that desires to be on the auto list, and I'm actually going to make a video to kind of spell it out a little bit more here, probably within the next day or so, but would need to email me and say, yes, I want to be on the auto list. Here is my information, and then I will keep that on file and then use that. So they can either email me at david.thomas@spiritofcowboy.com or david@spiritofacowboyimages.org. And also on the website there is either a contact or an email. So there's two or three ways in order to get a hold of me, but that would be the requirement for the auto list. Is I want to make sure that I get a confirmation from the individual, and because I'm not going to take any information that Mark Pryor had prior. I want this again, kind of a clean slate, new whole new deal here. So,
I'll make sure I put all of those links in the show notes for anybody who's
all right.
looking to check out your work or looking to get on the auto list. And thank you so much. It was so great to meet you and to get to know you a little bit better. And I'm excited for our paths to cross as we go to majors this year and maybe other
Oh,
shoots as
absolutely.
well. Thank you so much, David. I'm looking forward to our paths crossing at the majors, and I'm looking forward to seeing some fantastic shots of me riding Mr. Bear. If there are balloon killers that you would like to hear interviewed, please email me on balloonkillers@gmail.com. That's balloon killers, all one word, at gmail.com.